Y'all. In this video, we're going to talk about, we're going to find out who is God. When you ask yourself that question, it's kind of overwhelming because he is so many things. But we're just going to talk about four things. He is Lord, he is Father, he is King, and he is friend. So first, he is our King. He is our authority figure. And like all authority, we must respect them and give. And with God, we're supposed to fearfully respect him. So like our bosses at work, we must listen to them and do what they tell us, or we will get fired. With God, we must listen to him because he has the gift of salvation to his faithful children. So, in Romans 13:1-2, it talks about how we're supposed to be submissive to all authority. And in Proverbs 1:7, it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction." So we must always be wise and accept wisdom and instruction, no matter how painful it is. And in Ecclesiastes 12:13, it says, the end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So, in the simplified version of what we're supposed to be doing here on this earth, it is to fear God and keep his commandments. Simple, yet it is very hard to do. Okay, so if you call him Lord, why don't we do what he tells us? If we truly see him as our authority figure, why don't we do as he tells us? So, second thing he is our Father. And like any parent-child relationship, we must always have a healthy relationship, and rules without relationship lead to rebellion. People without a relationship with God, they see him as a dictator. And once you have a willing and loving relationship with him, you'll want to follow him and to please him because of the mutual love within the Father. And in Luke 15:11, it talks about the prodigal son. And the father was forgiving, he was loving, he was accepting, and he saw his son from a distance and embraced him and kissed him even after he squandered all of his inheritance in the world. And so God is giving us free will because he wants us to willingly seek him. He is saying if you could trust him with your life. And just because we can see God at work does not mean he's not working on our behalf. And if you don't want God now, you won't get the chance to be with him for eternity. And we need to reflect his character. So, the third thing that God is that he is our friend. And so the purpose of a friend is a loyal companion, right? And we want a joyful relationship with our friends. We don't want drama all the time. And so he wants what's best for us. God wants what's best for us. And it talks about in James 2:23 how he was friends with Abraham, and it was a two-way relationship. And we can't expect God to be our friend if we are not faithful to him in return in friendship. So, for example, we can't text a friend only to ask for something. We always have to make sure that our friendship is mutual and the love is mutual, and we can't just keep taking from our friends. We also have to give. And it's better to give than to receive, right? And so we must invest time and effort in him just like we invest time and effort in our friendships. God is a lifestyle. It is not something that we show every Wednesday and Sunday. So we constantly have to be giving to God and sacrificing for him. And God has our back no matter what. And how can we deny him? And like I said before, if we acknowledge him in our everyday life, we will reap so much more reward. Like it says in Matthew 10:32. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I will also acknowledge before my Father who is in heaven. And in James 4:4, it says that friendship with the world makes you an enemy of God. So I'd rather be a friend of God and an enemy of the world. And fourth thing that he is Lord. And going back to our first point, it kind of goes hand in hand, King and Lord, how we recognize his sovereignty in our lives. So those are the four things that God is. And I challenge you to give up your earthly ties and our pride when we follow God, because that is kind of the root of sin also. And we must submit ourselves to God's will and, try to be closer with him and get to know him better. And I will be putting another video later, probably not next week, but maybe the following week, about how we could get to know God better. Thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll see y'all next week.